Hey everybody, I wanted to make a video for you quickly. I know a lot of you are signing up for Quals, running for office. I wanted to walk through the grading system that we're going to be using for judging. This is what Kingdom has been using recently. A lot of people last time we went around had struggled with this, and I'd hate for people to not qualify for the offices at Park because they didn't fully understand how they're going to be judged. People at Park or at the Kingdom level failed to qualify because they didn't understand the system. So we're going to do a quick 5-minute, 10-minute thing walking through what you're going to be judged on and how it's going to work. So as you can see here, contestants may enter one item. This is many items. This is from the best or the 6 and under tournament going on at Kingdom in March, which you guys should enter. If you're not thinking about it, you should. But just it's the same grading thing here. So how it works, you have 5 categories. You will get graded on 0 to 10 in each of those categories. Then all of the judges' scores will be combined together. You go to score of 0 to 50. You'll divide that by 5 to get a 1 to 10 score, and that's how it works. So on here you have documentation, which is worth 10 out of your 50 points. Presentation, 10 out of 50. Workmanship, 10 out of 50. Creativity, 10 out of 50, and scope, 10 out of 50. So what that essentially means, your workmanship and your creativity is worth 40% of your overall points, okay? But what that also means, your documentation and your presentation are worth another 40%. So even if you turn in something that isn't that good, you can get free points if you turn in your crap well presented and well documented, okay? Make sure you have these things. If you don't do these things, your item will fail. First off, documentation. You'll get a, well, I guess on all of these. If you score a 1 or a 2, that means you are absolutely terrible at what you're doing. A 3 or a 4 means that you did under average, right? Not as good as what the average Amtgarder can do. A 5 or a 6 is average. A 7 or an 8 is really good, and a 9 or a 10 is night level, masterhood level. So when A is your judging, remember that. But then B, so that way you can kind of understand where you're fitting on this 0 to 10. So documentation. This is one we had a lot of people miss out on last time. Didn't turn any documentation in, didn't do anything, lost free points. You're leaving points on the table if you don't do your documentation. So let me show you this. Here is the documentation that I did. Let's see if I can zoom in here. For Misty Hollow's competition. I can't find my documentation that I did for Kingdom Quals, but they were pretty much the same thing. Okay, so make sure you type it up. An average documentation now is typed. If it's not typed, you're going to get a 3 or a 4. And that's if it's a decent or handwritten thing. You're not going to score very well. So you can see on this one, garbage, you put the category, subcategory, put what it's made of, put how you did it, type it up, okay? So and you can see I did this on multiple of these. You can go through and look, and over here I have Kingdom results. I did my write-ups for Kingdom the same way that I did those. The one at Kingdom was just Quals, so it didn't go all out on documentation. But you can see what I just did over there. 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs at the most is scoring between 6s. I don't think I got anything lower than a 6. No, I didn't. So 6s through documentation all the way up to 8 or 9s. Okay, so make sure you do documentation. You can see down here, documentation for me at Kingdom was one of my lower scores. That's easy points that I need to do better on for the next time. Don't lose points at Quals because you didn't type your stuff up. The next one, presentation. A 5 here is setting your thing on the table. That is average. If you're going to set your thing on the table, bring a colored sheet to put it on, right? Let me see if I can, hold on. Pull this up. this. Okay, so your presentation. See how these are hung up? If you're doing garb, bring them on a hanger. That gets you more points. If you just throw it down on the table, it's going to be score really low. This person framed their write-up. If you want extra points, that's really good as well. Hanger, let's go through and look. Presentation-wise, if you just set it on the table, you're going to get an average score like this one. This one's handwritten. He's got diagrams over here, so that helps him, but the fact that it's handwritten probably scored him low on that one. If you're doing artwork, frame it. If you just turn in a picture that isn't framed, you're leaving points on the table. You can get easy free points by framing your stuff, by putting it in a hanger. Let me back up on here. So that's not going to let me. Let's go the other way. You know, see some of these things. Hey, there's Amtgard. These things are just sitting on the table. That's fine. That's average. But if you go above and beyond and hang it up, do something simple, right? And it's free, easy points. If you have a model for your garb or your artwork, that is huge points, right? He put his on this little board here. That gives you tons of free points. Easy points, even if your stuff is crap. 40% of your documentation, or 40% of your scores is presentation and documentation, okay? Next, we have workmanship. This is how good you do. This is what most people think about when it comes to A&S. How good is your stuff? Creativity is, did you turn in here a basic tunic or did you embellish it? How unique is it? Is it something that anybody could do? And scope, this one's a little hard. This is the most ambiguous one to grade, I think. Was it an ambitious project? What was the inspiration? Is there a wow factor? This one's weird because, so like, over here are my scores from Kingdom again, my scope. This one right here, I turned in 8 belts, so you would think that the scope would be higher, 8, 9s, 7s, but I look down here, Serpent Knight's belt, same, that's a single belt, the same scores. My combo belt, a little bit higher actually, that's 1 belt as well. Cosa Nostra belt, same scores. My Ferrum Crux, same scores, right? So my scope on this one, which you would think would be highest because of the difficulty of it, but it wasn't. But scope, how ambitious was your project? Did you turn in a piece of garb or did you turn in a full set of garb? Okay, so make sure for quals you do these things, okay? If you don't, these are the 2 big ones. If you don't do presentation and you don't type up your documentation and you fail, right? You can fail. We had people that turned in Kingdom stuff this time we had 2 people that I know of who didn't pass because for this system you have to get at least a 25 out of 50 average on all of your items to qual. Let's do this. Pull this up. All right, so right here, for us, I think we all should be running under this because we're going to be a Barony here in a month or so, but we're not. So technically, we just have to do these up here. So if you're running for Monarch, you need 3 A&S entries, including 1 kind of Amtgard equipment. Equipment is anything that we use on the field. Okay, Regent, 3, Champion, 2. So make sure you do these. Make sure you do your stuff. Make sure it is at least average quality. A good thing to do is turn in an extra item or 2 if you're worried. If you think that, oh man, I don't know if this item is going to actually score a 25 out of 50 or not, make sure you turn in an extra one. We had a couple of people at Kingdom who didn't qualify because they failed to understand what was expected of them when they turned stuff in. So I know a lot of you guys think, how many do we have? Like 18 people or something stupid running for park office now. So all you guys right here, make sure you watch this. Make sure you know what's expected of you. Make sure you do a good job at your quals entries so that way you can go in and there's no unexpected surprises. We would hate to fail you simply because you didn't do something, because you didn't research it beforehand. Thanks, guys.